UFC Nashville takes place this weekend. And here are my predictions and breakdown for all the fights on the card. Fun fact before we head into these, I'm actually going to this card live at the Bridgestone Arena. I live in Kentucky, so it's like a 4.5, 5 hour drive to Nashville, Tennessee. But I am going, and I am very excited. Um, it'll be my second event live. I went to Cannonier versus Imavov because that was in like Louisville, Kentucky, I think it was. So obviously I went to that, and this is gonna be my second event. So I'm very excited for that. But that's neither here or there. Let's hop into the card here. First fight of the night: Fatima Klein versus Melissa Martinez. Now, I really like Melissa Martinez. I think she's cool. She's a pretty good fighter too. But I am gonna go with Fatima Klein. And I think it just comes down to the simple fact that Fatima Klein has something that separates her from a lot of most women. And it's nasty intentions, finishing ability. Fatima Klein goes out there and she loves to finish. That's what she does. She chases finishes and she's nasty. She loves ground and pound. She just has intentions of ending the fight. And I just, that's not really something you can say as a general consensus to a lot of the women in the UFC. Because a lot of them are tit for tatty. They like to, whatever. But I will say I like Melissa Martinez. She has a crazy movement. She's really hard to track down, so it's probably going to be a little bit hard for Klein to get her. But I don't think this is going to be a finish. I think it's going to be a unanimous decision for Klein, where she just does more damage. She does more ground and pound and stuff like that. So I will say about Melissa Martinez is she was absolutely robbed of a TKO finish versus Ardeline. Robbed bad. It was a liver kick, and the retarded ass referee was like, "Oh, groin shot, timeout," and gave the time for Ardeline to recover, and it was a decision. Fuck is that? Um, but yeah, I mean, man, it's just like it sucks because that was gonna be a beautiful body shot TKO too. Um, but it's okay. She won the fight anyway, but I don't think she's gonna win this one. I mean, Fatima's a decent grappler and she's got some good scrambles. And I think it just really comes down to the nasty intentions, the intentions of ending the fight. That I think will ultimately get her this win by unanimous decision, though. All right, moving on to the next fight. Oh yeah. Mitch Ramirez versus my boy Mike Davis. Now, I've been a massive Mike Davis fan since he fought Thomas Gifford. Because that is still to this day, in my opinion, one of the most one-sided dominant beatdowns like we've ever seen, ever. He beat the shit out of Thomas Gifford, and like, it just, man, he just beat him up, man. Beat him up. And then every fight, win or lose, he just looks top tier, in my opinion. I don't see a scenario in which he does not become, like, at the very least, a top 10 ranked lightweight, at the very least. Now, obviously, he did lose to Fares Zayam in his last fight. How good is Terrence McKinney? But Mike Davis is, I don't know, I don't want to put excuses out there, but he did look off a little bit. I don't know why. Maybe it was just that's how good Fares Zayam is. But I think Mike Davis is a generational talent, and we're definitely going to see him rise the ranks. I think he's going to beat the shit out of Mitch Ramirez. I'm going to be honest. I mean, Mitch Ramirez lost to Thiago Moises last year. Do I need to say any more? I mean, he looks average in everything that he does. Just he punches real tight, real tight in there. But I mean, I don't see anything he could possibly have for Mike Davis. Mike Davis is like scarily well rounded. Like, he's terrifying. So good and powerful on the feet. He can knock down anybody. His grappling is his best part. I mean, his grappling is incredible. He's very strong and physical on the ground. Really good submissions. I mean, he can KO you or he can submit you just as easy. It's just, he's so dangerous. And he's look at him. He's just a fucking free of nature, dude. He's gonna win this fight by round 1 submission, and I don't see any other possibility. Round 1 submission for Mike Davis, dude. It's just how it's gonna happen, you know. But yeah. I got no more to say about this one. Moving on to Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Walter Walker. I got Kennedy Nzechukwu, man. Kennedy Nzechukwu has really found his weight class here. Has really found his weight class here at heavyweight. He's a really good striker for heavyweight. He's very fluid in his strikes. He's powerful. And he's a finisher, too. I think his last 2 fights ended in round 1 KO. He KO'd Chris Barnett. Anybody will KO Chris Barnett in round 1. And then he beat, God, what is that guy's name? It's a really weird name. There's like 3 or 4 Z's in it. I know you guys know who I'm talking about right now. But yeah, the same guy that Kennedy Nzechukwu KO'd in round 1 beat Walter Walker. And I'm not saying that because of that Kennedy will win. It's just, it doesn't help the case if you're going to pick Walter Walker. But I'm going to go Kennedy because I keep muting my mic because there's a little button at the top here. And that mutes it, so. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kennedy Nzechukwu. He's just too good, I think. It's like Walter Walker's he's a decent grappler. He's strong. He probably could and probably will honestly get Kennedy down. I just don't see Kennedy falling into a heel hook. I'm sorry, I don't. And Walter Walker, can't strike at all. So, yeah. I'm going to go Kennedy Nzechukwu just by being better. And I think he's going to actually knock Walter Walker out in the first round. Round 1 TKO for Kennedy Nzechukwu. He looked terrible at light heavyweight, but he's really found his home here at heavyweight, and I actually think he's gonna be a pretty good contender in this heavyweight division because he's not that fat and he's pretty tall, I believe. What's his height? Is his height listed on here? It is 6'5". I don't know. He could be a little taller than that, but maybe not. Anyways, Kennedy Nzechukwu, round 1 TKO. Moving on to Lauren Murphy and Eduardo Mora. Damn, Eduardo looks kind of good here. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I didn't really do any research for this fight. I'm not really interested. Lauren Murphy sucks. I'm sorry. She does. Eduardo she doesn't suck. She's okay. So I'm going to go with Eduardo Mora 100%. Lauren Murphy is garbage and doesn't really know how to fight. So, yeah. I can't think of anything Lauren Murphy has ever done in her entire career. I think the most impressive thing Lauren Murphy has done in her entire career is, last to round 4 against Shevchenko. I don't mean to be mean, but, I'm going to go with Eduardo Mora by... Let me just check real quick. Let me see if Eduardo Mora is if she's a good finisher. Because if she's a good finisher, then no doubt in my mind she's going to finish Lauren Murphy. I just want to double check real quick. I probably should have done this before. Decision to Veronica Hardy. Veronica Hardy is not good. Lost to Denise Gomez. Denise Gomez is good. She is pretty good. But I'm going to look at her. Sherdog real quick. I like Sherdog. It's my favorite. This is taking a bit, huh? 4 KOs, 5 subs, 2 decisions. All right. I'm going to go with Eduardo Mora by submission in round 2. Because I really lacked on this fight in terms of researching this, so I had to look it up right then and there. But I'm gonna go with Edward Mora by submission, round 2. Jake Matthews versus Chidi Njokuani. Now, this is also a fight that I wanted to get to in terms of researching for the card. I just didn't have enough time. I didn't get to it. But I mean, both of these fights are ingrained in my head. So, but I'm gonna go with Chidi Njokuani. I just think Chidi's better. He's much bigger and taller. He's got like 4 or 5 inches on him, don't he? Taller. I think he's more powerful. He hits harder. I think he's just a better. I think he's bigger, stronger, more powerful, and a more technical striker. Jake Matthews is tough. He really is. He's one of those like brawling guys that will always kind of be in your face. But I get it was a little while ago, but I just can't shake the memory of him getting dropped like, what was it, 2 or 3 times against fucking Matthew Selmesberger. Oh, and I used to like Matthew Selmesberger, but I mean, he wasn't someone I rated that highly. He was just fun to watch. And Jake Matthews, after he beat Andre Fialho, I think his name is, dude, I thought Jake Matthews was going to be a real contender. I thought he was going to get ranked, but then he gets his ass whooped by Matthew Selmesberger, and then I think he lost to someone else as well. I don't know. Jake Matthews, he's like this when it comes to impressing me. Chidi Njokuani's like this. Chidi just KO'd the shit out of Zaleski dos Santos. It was beautiful. I believe it was with a knee. I think Chidi Njokuani is going to. I don't think he's gonna finish Jake Matthews though. Jake Matthews is tough, dude. He's always in the fight. I'm gonna go with Chidi Njokuani with unanimous decision, but I'm gonna throw in a bonus and say he gets 2 knockdowns over Jake Matthews total. That's a little bonus for this fight. Moving on to Max Griffin versus Chris Curtis. I don't have to explain to you guys why I'm taking Chris Curtis. Max Griffin turns 41 this year at welterweight, and he lost to Michael Chiesa recently in his career, so I'm not picking Max Griffin, and I don't think anybody should be picking Max Griffin because he's going to get knocked the fuck out. Chris Curtis, I think this is Chris Curtis' welterweight debut, I believe. He's going to style on Max Griffin, and he's going to beat the shit out of him, to be honest with you. Chris round 2, knockout. Flatline. I'm gonna say it's a flatline. Round 2. Chris Curtis is a decent boxer, man. You know? He's not all that, though. He's not all that. Should have lost the decision to Roman Kopylov. That finish was dog shit. But yeah, Chris Curtis has got this one in the bag, I think. I mean, Chris Curtis has some fucking fantastic wins. He's got a win over Joaquin Buckley. That has aged really well. Who else has he beaten? Well, he lost to Jack Hermanson, didn't he? It's not too good. But I'm going to still go with Chris Curtis, round 2 KO. Flatline. Moving on. Junior Tafa versus Tuco To. I'm trying not to burp. I'm gonna go with Junior Tafa here, dude, by knockout in round 1. I know Junior Tafa's not all that, but his opponent is literally Tuco Tokos. He's like shitty everywhere. He's like a shitty grappler, a shitty striker. He's just not good. I'm sorry, he's not. Look at these records: 6-3 and 10-5. They're fucking abysmal, dude. They're fucking abysmal. I just can't. I can't pick Tuco Tokos. I just can't. It won't. My body won't physically let me do that. So, Junior Tafa round 1 KO, TKO is what I'm gonna go with because Tuco Tokos isn't good. And Junior Tafa, he hits hard, man. He's got some power for real. I mean, he was putting people away at heavyweight. So he's coming down to light heavyweight now. He's probably gonna be putting people away. So Junior Tafa, he's a finisher too, and he rolls well with shots. Junior does. So I still think his brother's better, but it is what it is. I ain't got too much more to say here. I I maybe I'm gonna be humble, but I'm gonna be honest here. Like, I really in no way rate Tugo Togos, like, at all. I don't think he's good in the slightest. I don't think he's UFC level. I think he's gonna be cut very soon because he's never gonna win a fight. And yeah, Junior Tafa, round 1 TKO. Vitor Petrino versus Austin Lane. Austin Lane fucking sucks. I'm going with Vitor Petrino. Look at the beef Vitor Petrino has put on. My God. Austin Lane is shit. He's shit. I'm going with Vitor Petrino. Vitor Petrino's not that good either. Lost to Anthony Smith. That is fucking horrendous. And then he loses to Dustin Jacoby, who is pretty underrated, actually. I don't think he's that good, but I don't think he's that bad either. I think he's a solid light heavyweight, he is. So, not the worst loss to have like Anthony Smith is. But Austin Lane, is garbage, man. He got KO'd by the other Tafa brother. What's his name? Junior Tafa and man, it was literally just in my head. Whatever. Got KO'd by Tafa in round 1, I think it was. And then I'm gonna lie though, he did like really dominate round 1 against Jonathan Deniz, but then Jonathan Deniz just chinned him in the second round. I mean, his record of 13-6, that's not good. It is not good at all. Should have stuck with the NFL, bro, because you're dog shit. Vitor Petrino at least has some pretty decent performances against some pretty decent guys. So if I'm gonna go with Vitor Petrino, I'm gonna go with him. Damn, I feel like I'm going with too many finishes here, bro. I don't care. Vitor Petrino knockout round 2. That's my official prediction on this fight. Because Vitor Petrino, although he's not the best, he does have some decent wins over some decent guys. So you have to give Vitor Petrino the benefit of the doubt in this matchup, because Austin Lane hasn't proven to be anything other than just dog shit. So yeah. Yeah. What's the height difference here? 6'2" and 6'6". Won't matter. Round 2, KO for Vitor Petrino. Moving on to Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Charrier. You know what I hate so much about recording? Recording is the only time I ever yawn. Ever. And it sucks, dude. Alright. I'm going to go with Morgan Charrier here by unanimous decision. Nate Landwehr is fun. We all like Nate Landwehr. We all love Nate Landwehr. We all love watching him fight. But he's just not great, is he? He can be easily taken down. And it's just like, I will say, Doo Ho Choi is good. But one of Doo Ho Choi's biggest problems throughout his career was his inability to grapple. And he tossed Nate Landwehr around like a sack of potatoes. And outstruck him badly on the feet. Like, that was such a domination. And Nate Landwehr is wild straight out the gate. As soon as the bell rings, he runs across the octagon and starts swinging, trying to collect your head. And he's a brawler who kind of lacks a little bit of technique. And Morgan Charrier, I think he's just a bit too clean for Nate Landwehr. I picked Morgan Charrier over his face is in my head. His last fight, dude. Morgan Charrier's last fight. I'm not going to spend too much time thinking about it. But I picked him to win that fight, but he lost it, obviously. And, I don't know. Nate Landwehr is fun, but he's just not that good. Morgan Charriere, though, is also fun, but I think he's actually pretty good. He's got some good technique, especially with his kicks. He's a good striker. He hits he hits plenty hard, I think. I think his power is enough. He ain't KOing people every fight, but it will never be surprising to see him get one. Um, but Nathaniel Wood is his name. Nathaniel Wood. That's who beat Morgan Charriere. I picked Morgan Charriere over Nathaniel Wood, but he lost. But I would pick Nathaniel Wood to beat Nate Landwehr as well. So Nate Landwehr's fun, but he's gonna lose this fight. He's gonna get his ass whooped. I think he's gonna lose a unanimous decision. Oh, what happened? Moving on to the next fight. Calvin Kattar versus Steven Garcia. I want to be nervous. I want to be really nervous for this fight because Calvin Kattar, like, before he fought Max Holloway, Calvin Kattar was already my favorite featherweight on earth. It was like the fight right before Max Holloway that I was like, you know what? Calvin Kattar's my favorite featherweight, man. He's so cool. His boxing is so cool. He's so good. And then he goes through that against Max Holloway. And then comes back and has that fucking performance against Giga Chikadze. I thought it was so beautiful. But that was his last win. Little did I know he'd never win again. He lost to... I'm going to say this. 100% he beat Josh Emmett. Like, I rewatched that fight countless times. I scored it every single time for Calvin Kattar. He did not lose to Josh Emmett, so that sucks. That the judges robbed him. And then he got injured against Arnold Allen. I do think Arnold Allen was going to win that fight regardless, but it's just unfortunate how it ended. And then he goes and he loses the fucking... What's his name, dude? I'm not going to remember at this moment. I will in a few seconds, though. But it's because he ran away the whole fight. And I'm not saying that... I'm not saying that if you run away, you can't be good. But the kind of fight style that he has, it is... Like, I'm allowed to, not like it for it. I just am. Calvin Kattar in the third round was really putting it on him, though. Had that fight been 5 rounds, I think Calvin no doubt would have won. But Calvin Kattar he just needs to do more. He just needs to do more. Although I don't know if that's necessarily the case for this fight. Because I will say for this fight right here, Steve Garcia's on a crazy run. All knockouts in round 1. And Calvin Kattar's on a crazy losing streak. So naturally you'd probably want to pick Steve Garcia because of the momentum. And momentum is real. It is. But every style, even similar, anything even similar to what Steve Garcia has, Calvin Kattar has not only beaten the past, but dominantly with finishes too. Like, Steve Garcia doesn't have any technique in his strikes. Calvin Kattar is my underdog of the week. I already have a short on my channel, picking him as my underdog of the week with some short reasons why I'm picking him. But this is the full breakdown. Calvin Kattar is just, I'm just going to be honest, he's a better striker here. He's better than Steve Garcia. His boxing is way better. His jab is beautiful. His combinations are really good when he decides to throw them once in a million years. But Steve Garcia crashes in, no technique. Steve Garcia, in my honest opinion, is a throw and hope fighter. But fair play to him, they land and he gets the KOs. My thing is, he's not going to KO Calvin Kattar. We have seen over the course of Kattar's entire career that he's never been dropped and he's never been finished. And I don't see Steve Garcia doing that, because I think to beat Calvin Kattar, you need to be a genuinely good fighter. Max Holloway, former champion, a genuinely good fighter. Josh Emmett, although he lost, although he lost, you know, is a genuinely good fighter. Arnold Allen is a genuinely good fighter. Other dude that for some reason I can't think of his name at all he's a decent fighter, you know? Steve Garcia technically is not a good fighter. I'm sorry, he's not. And I don't want to and it's like this isn't middleweight, so that shit isn't going to really fly in the upper echelon of the division. So I think that Steve Garcia is going to win the first round. He's going to be tagging Calvin Kattar with some pretty hard shots, but Kattar's going to stay on his feet. He's not going to get knocked out, and as the fight goes on, we're going to see him slow down, and Calvin Kattar is going to take him apart. I think Steve Garcia is going to win the first round by landing some shots that make us go, oh, oh, oh. And then the second round starts, and we're no longer saying that to the punches he's landing, if he's landing any. And we're going to be seeing Calvin Kattar just mess up his face with a jab for the entirety of round 2. And then third round, I think he's going to really put it on him. Jabs, straights, hooks, body shots. I think elbows, dude. Elbows are going to be huge here. If Steve Garcia crashes in to an elbow, he's going out. He is. So I'm gonna go with Calvin Kattar here by unanimous decision. Because I don't know if Calvin Kattar's not much of a finisher, even in his prime. Like, he finished Shane Burgos. He beat Shane Burgos. KO'd him. KO'd Jeremy Stevens with an elbow. Beautiful. Beautiful. But, you know, I think Calvin Kattar is going to beat him up. Calvin Kattar, unanimous decision. And I will be really upset if Kattar loses. Because I really like him, and I want to see him succeed, dude, you know? And I also don't want another L on my underdog of the week. So, moving on to the co-main event, right? Yeah, co-main event of Stephen Thompson versus Gabriel Bonfim. I'm going to just come out and straight up say it. Gabriel Bonfim is going to submit Stephen Thompson. He is. He's going to submit him with a guillotine. Or a Darce. But I'm going to go guillotine. Stephen Thompson is definitely a better striker here. Obviously, I didn't have to say that. But, dude, I'm going to be honest. I really rate Gabriel Bonfim. Look at the record. Same amount of wins. But Stephen Thompson has 7 more losses. Not saying that that's necessarily bad here, because Stephen Thompson has been competing in the elite level of the welterweight division in the UFC for like 10 years or something like that. Dude, this son is going to piss me off. You have to come right now, dude. I'm about to finish the video. Gabriel Bonfim is really good. He's better than his brother Ismael. So, but at this point, I don't trust Stephen Thompson to defend these takedowns. Gabriel Bonfim is going to get him down, and he's going to submit him in round 1. Round 1 submission for Gabriel Bonfim. I will say, though, I am happy as hell to be witnessing a Stephen Thompson fight live. That is beautiful. Dude's a fucking legend. One of the best to never win a belt, probably. So, Gabriel Bonfim, though, he's nasty and he's a problem, dude. He's a fucking problem. So, I think he's going to be a real contender in this division. Because if there's one thing that this welterweight division really lacks, if there's one skill, it's jiu-jitsu. And Gabriel Bonfim brings that and more. So, official prediction, Gabriel Bonfim, round 1 submission over Wonderboy. Unfortunately, I will be rooting for Wonderboy, though. But I don't think it's going to happen. Anyways, moving on to the main event. And Derek Lewis versus Taliesin Teixeira. Now, I feel like a lot of people are going to be going with Taliesin Teixeira. But I'm going with Derek Lewis, man. And I'll tell you why. Yes, Derek Lewis is chinny. He's chinnable. Yes, Derek Lewis isn't that good. Yes, Derek Lewis just kind of sucks. But I just can't trust Taliesin Teixeira. He's very tall. He's like 6'8" or something. Powerful, obviously. And he's undefeated with every win, all 8 wins being a finish inside the first round. I wrote finish because I do think he has 1 submission. He's got like 7 KOs and 1 submission. But that 1 submission was like back in like 2020. It's like second or third pro fight, so not too relevant here, but he's got one. He's a knockout artist. But every round has ended in the first round. I do think this is going to end in round 1. And it's like Taliesin Teixeira's got crazy pressure, but he can be caught. I've seen him get caught on the chin before by some other opponents that aren't as good as Derek Lewis. And I just think if I've seen Taliesin get hit with some shots that, to be fair to him, he took them. But if Derek Lewis is the one landing those shots, you're not getting up. And I will say, the combined record of Taliesin's opponents is 29-35. I can't trust that over somebody like Derek Lewis. Literally the most knockouts in UFC history. And your opponent's records are 29-35. I get it, you're tall, powerful, and you're a good striker. And he could very well beat Derek Lewis. Absolutely he could, dude. He's 8-0 for a reason. He's never lost. But the eye test to me just says that Derek Lewis is just gonna chin him, dude. I think Taliesin Teixeira, I think they're gonna meet in the middle. Talison's gonna hit him with a shot that backs Derek Lewis up, and then Talison's gonna come in to finish it, and he gets caught or some shit like that. First minute and a half, I see this fight ending for Derek Lewis. Talison's probably gonna go in there with the fact saying, "Oh, it's Derek Lewis. He's old and he's been KO'd a lot recently, so I could probably do the same." And he just gets chinned. I don't know. If Taliesin Teixeira wins, this prediction of Derek Lewis is probably going to look really retarded, but I just can't. If I picked someone with the opponent's record of 29-35 over Derek Lewis, I would just feel like a fool. All that shows is that you've never faced good competition in your life. I mean, the best guy you've ever fought is a Tafa brother? Are you fucking serious? I can't pick you over Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis has beaten Curtis Blades. He's beaten Alexander Volkov, who I think would... I was going to say something crazy, but... he would dominate Taliesin Teixeira. Curtis Blades would dominate him. I mean, it's just Derek Lewis has just done things that I can't pick against him. You know what I'm saying? And what are his losses recently? Tai Tuivasa? Sergey Pavlovich? It's not a bad loss. I'm sorry, dude. I'm going with Derek Lewis. Round 1 knockout. Taliesin Teixeira will probably be decent in this division because he's not fat and he's a tall, powerful striker. So I do see him doing pretty well, but not against Derek Lewis. Not against Derek Lewis. I think he needs a bit more experience. But that's the end of the video, though. Those are my picks for UFC Nashville. I am super excited to... Oh, man. I am super excited to watch this card live and in person. I don't know what I just did. Super excited to watch this card live and in person. This card's going to be so much better than Cannonier Imavov. So hopefully we get to see more knockouts. Because I think Carlos Prates got the first finish of the night that night. But, yeah. I feel like I'm going to do pretty well on this card. I hope at least. At the very least, I hope Calvin Kattar wins. That's what I want. That's the fight I want to go my way the most. But we'll see. I will probably be posting on YouTube some of my fight reactions because I really like to record some of the fight on my phone just for like memory purposes, and hopefully I'll catch a KO, and if I do, I'll post them on my shorts. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm not going to drag it on too long. 35 minutes. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'll be back for the results. See you.